Most of you know the old story about the astronaut who went far out into space and was asked on his return whether he had been to heaven and seen God. And he said yes. He said yes. He said yes.
Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries, and sentient artificial intelligence. Join us on this journey to find the others. Because no matter where we find ourselves in this multiverse, the act of existing is all too familiar.
Guys? Is anybody out there? Hello?
The mushroom has a tremendous problem-solving ability.
As we look across this great expanse and stare at the stars, we can't help but be reminded these lights, though we're seeing them all at the same time, happened across a multi-billion-year delta. Some of those fires burned millions of years ago, some billions, but all of them happened so we could experience them in this one singular moment.
They called us scouts. They called us seekers. They called us Hoosier. But we were destined to question everything.
I don't know about you, but as for me, the question has already been answered. Should we be here? Yes.
Hello, Seth. So there it was. We're ringing in the new year. I think we're bringing in 2012. It might have been 2011.
Okay,
but I think we're bringing in 2012. Regardless, I don't really get into the New Year's Eve thing. So, me and my best friend, he will go nameless because
sure.
We'll call him. What name should we give
Wesley.
him? Wesley.
Patrick.
Patrick's
good.
Okay, Patrick. Okay, so me and Patrick, we get a room at the Red Roof Inn here in St. Louis.
Okay.
We're currently living in Illinois.
Okay.
We're like, oh, we're gonna hang in the city tonight.
Big city.
New Year's Eve. Let's go to the city. Let's jam it out. We get a room at the Red Roof Inn. The gum that Sam Lyons, local comedian, gave me before we started is like crazy good.
Getting that saliva.
No. Actually, Missy gave me that. I'm sorry. For a second, I thought
we're very interchangeable. I get it. Sure.
Anyways, this gum is fantastic.
Great.
So we're going to see the Funky Butt Brass Band.
I've heard of them. I'm familiar.
2720 Cherokee.
Okay.
We head down there.
Shout out to the Loyal family.
Yeah. We meet up with my friend. We'll just call him Twitch.
Okay.
That's his actual nickname. So
okay.
Me, Patrick, and Twitch are hanging out, and he's like, I'm drinking a Jack and Coke, just ready to bring in the new year. We're all having a good time.
Sure.
We go up to the next level, which has everybody's artwork displayed.
Yeah, there's a little gallery up there. Yep.
Yeah. It's like, who do you think you are?
Oh, my
$600 bucks because you shot a canvas with a paintball gun? Calm down.
I love how fired up you get about abstract
Work at
art.
Quick Trip.
I love how fired up you get about abstract art.
I'll give you $50 to hang that in my bathroom. But that's neither here nor there because we're having a great time.
Sure.
He's like, hey, you want to hit acid? I'm like, man, I love acid. Oh, let me
Allegedly.
Let me go back. This is my first time in almost we'll say half a decade.
Okay.
I did the military thing for 4 years.
Okay.
I don't think I tripped for at least a year leading into the military. So that was 5 years.
Okay.
So we'll say 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Right. So he gives me a hit of acid. I'm like, all right, I put that on my tongue, and we're just
boogieing,
having a good time,
sure.
baby, having a great night. He's like, oh, we're going to this party down the street. We're on Jefferson, right? So we go to this party, and this place is not for residential rent. It's clearly for
little warehouse space. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a small place.
Okay.
Make a great mom and pop
bistro
shop right there on the corner or whatever.
Sure.
But the point is, these people have it.
Okay.
I'm not judging.
Sure.
I'm not the cops. I'm just there to party.
They have it as a residential space?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go in. Big old long table. People are dressed up. It's an Alice in Wonderland themed party.
Oh, it's awesome. I was actually no, this is different because we've now moved on to Jefferson. But we actually went to an Alice in Wonderland themed party. I believe that her sister was the one that ran the gallery above 2720.
I believe I'm hearing something in my ears.
It's probably
there. Hey, integrity is in the building.
Integrity in the building.
There we go. Just get that out of the way.
Hi, Steve.
So we're there, and they have like this whole table laid out, big, long, like 10-foot long table.
Okay.
Boring.
Really, dude? Oh, this is Steve on. This is Steve.
He's looking
Steve!
at. He's looking
What's
at.
up, baby?
He's looking at integrity. Like, I can't believe that you're just going to shut me down right now.
Hey, anytime I do this signal, that means pot him down. All right. So, Steve, you just listen, okay, baby? All right. Hey, how's the kickball game going, or whatever the hell you're doing?
I'm fuming right now. I am.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have to get away from these parents.
Okay, so we got this big long table of treats. It's got brownies, cupcakes, all kinds of things.
It's somebody's very happy on birthday.
So I'm eating them, and I'm like, cannabis, obviously. It's got a very earthy aftertaste. I'm like, okay, these are edibles, cool. And they're like, we also have tea. They have a big pitcher of tea.
Naturally, it's Alice in Wonderland.
Pitcher of tea, and they're just pouring. The Mad Hatter, the guy playing the Mad Hatter, he's pouring tea for everybody.
Okay. I'm
drinking it. I take a big old swig. I'm like, very shroomy aftertaste. I've already ate acid, and
allegedly.
You know what? We're just let's just roll with this. This is fun. So me and my friend Patrick, as Sam named him earlier,
I keep picturing
we're standing in the corner. We see the guy dressed as Cheshire Cat. He's all dressed in purple and whatever. And I almost said the S word, but you on it? You on it back there? Okay. So he looks at me, nudges me, he goes, you also see the purple guy, right? And I'm like, yes, he's really there.
That's a real thing.
He's like, oh, yeah. So we both know that guy really exists. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're good. And he's like, he's freaking out. He's like, okay, I didn't know if you also saw the guy, the big purple guy. So we're good here. And then everybody, like the Mad Hatter guy, he calls everybody into the back room, which is just this empty room.
Okay.
There's like 4 or 5 folding chairs for like 20 people.
Okay. It sounds like an intimate good time. We're stacking up.
It's not that good of a time because he brings everybody in here and he's like, everybody take a seat. Okay. Well, there's not very many seats here. So we're all sitting there like Indian style on the ground, like kindergartners getting a lecture from McGruff the crime dog, like in a kindergarten classroom.
Okay.
Like he's standing there and we're all sitting on the ground like, oh, what are you gonna talk about? And this dude reads a poem to his girlfriend.
Oh, that's sentiment.
It's so it was really nice, but I'm freaking out.
Sure.
Like on the inside,
spontaneous
I'm freaking out.
poetry.
On the outside, I'm
me
just
out
cheesing because I'm like, this is gayer than a penis flavored popsicle.
Is this legal on the air?
Yeah, we're fine. Okay. It's my job, not yours.
He's heating up.
So we're sitting there and we're all laying on the floor and this guy's reading a poem and I'm like, this couldn't get any worse.
Oh, but it can.
Just like his story.
Well, his girlfriend sat him down and read him a poem and I'm just like, what is going on here? because I'm just freaking out.
Okay.
Like everything is kicked in. Okay, so we jump in my friend's car. There's 2 girls, her boyfriend, Twitch, Patrick, in air quotes, and myself. There's 6 of us?
Okay.
All crammed into like a 91 Cavalier.
Yeah. Big
like
pimpin'.
this little
spinning
tiny
G.
thing. Like, I don't even know if it was that nice.
Okay.
It's a piece of
Garbage.
junk car.
Okay.
So, and
You
we have to
never
wait
get the-
forever for it to heat up. It's like 10 degrees outside. So we finally get going down the road. The shroom tea, the edible.
It wasn't just it wasn't Earl Grey. It wasn't Earl Grey tea.
I don't know what, dude. I ate so much. I ate the shrooms.
Allegedly.
I drank the shroom.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I drank the shrooms. I ate the edibles. I
Allegedly.
think we had Jack in the Box that night.
Allegedly.
Everything's having its own little New Year's Eve party inside of my stomach.
Allegedly.
Seth, you're kind of the bad boy Hoosier Sophisticate, aren't you?
Yes, he is.
I am
Golly.
bad boy.
Get at him, ladies.
You're not gonna like me after this because I need to go, Craig.
Oh, you do.
I need to go.
Oh, you got to go.
I gotta go. We get to my friend's apartment. I'm sitting on her couch. I'm like, I need to go. Like,
Where?
it's not
I'm low
number
on
1.
gas
It's
and you
not
need a
number
jacket.
2. It's a number 2, but it's like 2.5. I'm freaking out because I'm sitting here like doing the whole little like, you know,
Steve
when you
Hurry.
move around a little
Steve
bit
Hurry.
because you're like trying to convince yourself
Hurry
you're
up,
fine, but
Steve.
you're not. But imagine that, but you're also tripping balls.
Allegedly.
So I go into the bathroom to pace around and I shut the door and I'm thinking to myself, I got a few options here. I fight.
Why?
Ooh, wait.
Oh, I got
I
you.
fight.
You fight it.
No,
I
no,
got
no.
you.
This
I'm with you.
bathroom is like 10 feet away from where everyone's sitting.
I got you.
All right. Integrity's losing his damn mind in there. So like I'm 10 feet away from everybody. So I'm thinking I'm gonna fight this.
Okay.
Or I can just
Go with it.
I can go number 2 in the toilet and be like, hey everybody, I
I hope.
destroyed your bathroom, sorry about that. Or I could lose the battle and make a really awesome story for everybody else to tell for years to come. So I decide I'm gonna fight it.
Okay.
So I'm staring at the mirror.
Oh, that's your first mistake.
I'm watching my face. Have you ever, like,
Second mistake. Maybe your third mistake.
for anybody that's ever taken a psychedelic, when you look in the mirror, you get lost in your own face and your face starts
imagine-
changing shape.
I imagine anytime Seth looks in the mirror, it's a nightmare.
Thanks. You're awesome.
And
Anyway, thanks, Steve. Peanut gallery over there. So I'm staring at the mirror and like I'm watching. Oh, by the way, bathrooms are so awesome when you're on psychedelics because
Allegedly.
there's usually some kind of like tile pattern on the floor. or
yeah,
something.
sure. Yeah.
You could just stare at it for hours.
I only use carpeted bathrooms. So
Oh, naturally. Yeah.
like a nice linoleum or something.
no, like a
but-
plush Berber carpet.
So I'm staring at myself.
Oh,
I'm
Burberry
staring at the
Berber.
tiles. Everything's changing shapes, and I'm just having a great time. And then I realize I've been in this bathroom for a very long time.
How long how long are you
I have
estimating?
no freaking clue, dude.
Okay.
I couldn't even ballpark it. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe a half hour.
Okay. People
I'm
banging
just-
on the door yet?
No, they're just out there talking about whatever. I'm sitting there like, I poked my head out.
Okay.
I didn't have enough, and I was there enough to like just kind of poke my head out and be like, "What's going on out there?
Sure.
Is anybody concerned about me?" They weren't. They didn't have like a search and rescue team
Yeah.
on standby or anything like
Some
that.
things you just can't shake, you know?
So
the
I'm
lack of
standing there,
concern is one of them.
and I go back out and I sit on the couch like everything's fine. Nobody says anything,
Okay.
and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, "We got to go." So Patrick calls a cab. The cab never shows up. Dude, I am fighting this thing. You have no clue how bad I kind of I didn't sell it enough. Like this is really bad.
Okay.
No, we
My
got the
my
2.5,
bubbles,
Yeah.
my gut's bubbling.
Okay.
It's
Hey,
it,
guys,
it wants
I
out.
just ran into Ryan Kelly at the game. You guys want me to see he'll say hi?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Whoa,
All right.
you were with the home loan expert?
Yeah, I'm with the here. I'm gonna have him hop on.
Right, Kelly?
Yeah, here, hold on. I gotta walk back over. Hey, Ryan.
I don't think he's really.
I think he is.
They don't believe me.
I think he is, but I think he's walking away from
I got to
him.
keep him away from all the kids out here. It's pretty bad. A lot of the parents are
Ryan Kelly, the
He
home
hung
loan
him
expert.
up. You got to keep him away from the kids. Ryan Kelly shut it down. The home loan expert. Check out hero.loan if you're a veteran and you're needing a home loan. A little free shout out to our guy, Ryan Kelly. He hung it up.
Oh, we're hung up?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So
you're getting in the cab.
No,
No,
the cab never showed up. The cab never showed up. So my friend's like, hey, just give me your money. I need some gas money. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So she takes us down Hampton all the way to the Red Roof Inn. We get upstairs and I just jet towards the bathroom and it's like Dumb and Dumber. Legs out.
Eyes crossed.
Eyes crossed. Just like an 18th century court that disagrees. I disagree. Blah, 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 blah. Just blah, 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 blah. It's just freaking crazy, dude. I'm just sitting there, legs out. And I get up. I wipe with the dollar store
Blah, 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 blah.
toilet paper that they give you there at the Red Roof. And I laid in bed and I slept. And then I woke up and we got in time. We woke up in time to check out and we left. And you know what?
What?
I won.
Well,
I won.
You won.
I won.
Where in that story
I feel
did you win?
no. Well, I certainly feel like
I didn't poop my pants.
I certainly feel like me and the thousands of people watching online and listening on WGNU 920 AM to Hoosier Sophisticate, we've all won after hearing that story. The 18th century jury reference will go down in the annals of Hoosier Sophisticate history. I believe we have our beloved co-host back on the line. Steve, how are you doing, sir?
Steve.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Steve.
What happened? Did you guys cut me off?
Actually,
I pooped
no.
my
I think
pants.
Ryan said he was over it. He said he had to protect you from the loose children out there, and he hung up the phone.
He hung up the phone right when he put it in his hand. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna get on the phone." Dang it! I knew that. I've done that trick before. Dang it! Hey Seth, great story, man.
Hey, thank you. Did you
Oh,
hear the
I-
end of
I
it?
was laughing.
No, you didn't
Yeah, I was
because you.
laughing.
It was.
No,
Yeah.
I was on the line.
Yeah, he was back. He came back at the end.
Oh,
I
cool.
mean, I don't like you so much as a person, but as a storyteller, you're a phenomenal.
Well, thank you so much. Where's the home loan expert?
We're all at Soccer Park right now.
Give me a little
Good
update.
daddy.
How's my guy doing? Give me a little
All
update
right,
on
it's like
Ollie.
11 to 7. It's a real ass show out here, guys. I don't know. I've always hated.
It's 11 to 7?
Will,
You're getting your
Will
money's
always
worth.
listen, it's 5-on-5. It's ridiculous. They got these kids running around. Scott Gallagher, we're paying $250 to get this kid in here. They got pennies that are the same
But that's
color as
Ferranti.
the jerseys they got. They got pennies that are light green while they're playing a team that is light green. I don't know what's going on.
It's
I have to-
pandemonium.
It is. It's total pack ball out here. And this is supposed to be the best soccer club in all of St. Louis.
Light 'em up.
And oh,
Turn it up.
Get your money, line up, take out a loan so your kid can play. Oh, guess what? We provide balls. That's about the only thing they provide out here because the rest is utter bull crap.
Hey, you
One
sound
guy's
fired
doing
up.
fine.
I like a dad that's engaged. We've got some high quality soccer talent that's always coming out of St. Louis. This is just the beginning, buddy. So just try and
No,
stay
there's a
patient
couple
through it.
kids out here too.
They're just trying to stay patient through it. In a couple of years, little Ollie will be over in Europe, and you and Mom are going to be able to just retire on a beach somewhere because he's going to be playing in
Listen,
probably in
listen,
Juventus
here's
or
the
something.
deal. Here's the deal. Okay, I'm about to lose it on all these people, right? I'm feel the blood boiling. I played soccer back in the day. I know a little bit about it. They said this is going to be an instructional league. They got this guy. I'll call him a guy and use that term loosely. Well, he's a regular guy. Just a regular guy. But he's out here and he's like trying to, I guess, coach, or he's coaching both teams and reffing. So it's like, are you giving any instruction out there? No, bud, you're not. And guess what? Maybe it's not his fault. It's not his fault, okay? But guess what? I'm going to calm down because Ollie came over after his shift, and they got 2 lines. You don't have enough fields out here that these kids can play the whole time. They got to only play half the time out here. He's only getting half the time out here, guys. Oh, he just put a pass on. Oh, big assist almost right there. He's a disher. He's pass first. I'll tell you guys that right now.
It's the most beautiful game. Make the extra pass.
He's having a good time though, so that's all that matters.
That's phenomenal. 11-7, good guys or bad guys?
I couldn't tell you, man. It's out of control.
It's pandemonium with all the green.
It's out of control. Yeah, it is.
How are we looking? What time are we looking at to get you in here? Because I don't know if you knew this or not, but you stranded me with Seth.
It's bad. I saw him from the videos at O'Shea.
Thank
Shout out
you.
to O'Shea's for having us today, and he looked ridiculous.
We had some fun. After you left, our buddy Soulard Twink Boy came by, hung out with us. You missed our guy, and he's got something really cool that he's put together. He's a sharp little tack, and he's got something that he put together for Hoosier Sophisticate. It's going to be so much fun. We're 9 days away. We got our buddy Sam Lyons in the studio. We are 9 days away
Week from Sunday.
from Game of Thrones, and Justin has created a GOT death pool just for Hoso that people can join. And I think what we'll do is it tallies. It's all based on who you guess is alive or dead. It tallies it all up at the end of the season. You can get bonus points if they turn to a White Walker. There's a couple of tiebreaker questions that you can answer. And I think the winner of it's going to get one of these new Hoosier Sophisticate shirts, maybe a bottle of momedcanco.com.
Maybe a cap.
Yeah, get them a little bit of the highest quality hemp oil. We're going to put together a nice little package for whoever guesses the most points outcome for the Game of Thrones death pool. It's going to be so much fun. Guess where Seth's at right now. If you had to take a stab.
Oh, he's in the back.
He's in the back. Guys, thank you so much for indulging us once again. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920. We had a friend just walk in. Friend of the show, from convicted LSD Kingpin to best-selling author, Seth Ferranti. He's got a new little VICELAND show coming up.
I'll let you guys go so you can get to it. And more Sam. That's all I can say.
More Sam, no doubt about it. Hey, get in that car, and if there's a train or a bus leaving the soccer park, I hope you're on it.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
All right. All right. I love you. I love you.
All right. I love you guys so much. I really do.
Love you, buddy.
I love you guys.
Love you more.
Guys, thank you for joining Hoosier Sophisticate here. This first hour is brought to you by Missouri Medical Cannabis Company. Check out momedcanco.com. Guess what they dropped this week?
What? Oh, the honey.
Well, that was weeks ago. This week, the vapor.
Ooh.
If you are a
Get your
vapor, you
face
need
out of my
something for
grill.
your vape, you need a little high quality CBD. Momed Canco is now bringing that to you. They've got some high quality massage oil. The hemp honey is off the chains. They've got the greatest hemp oil product in all the land, and they take care of our customers. If you enter HOSO at checkout, you'll get 15% off your entire order site wide. Let's jump to an early break. Come back, bring Seth in studio. Let's talk about all the fun stuff going on. Thank you so much for joining us on Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll catch you on the other side of the break.
Oh, do you want to learn how to grow high quality medicine from 4 of the best minds in the cannabis industry? You do? That makes sense. Well, on April 6th, you'll get your chance. Learn to grow from a pro. Search it on Facebook. Find out all the information there. You will be learning from the best minds in the cannabis industry. Learn to grow from a pro.
Say word. Last February, we held our first Hoosier Tattoo Day at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. And I got to tell you, a lot of really sweet art happened on that day. Everyone who showed up left very happy with their new tattoo. The artist did everything they could to ensure everything, from the drawing to the application itself, was perfected and exceeded the expectations of each individual client. We packed the house, and the artist remained cool as a cucumber the whole time. If you got the itch to get inked, visit Tower Classic Tattooing, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove. Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands. A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community. We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full-spectrum hemp oil from MomedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MomedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MomedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Jill.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it. I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding. Google it.
Real that for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, hoo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy, boy, yeah. Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
The government thinks 3 letters are bad. So bad, in fact, we won't even mention them. They even think that we've been waiting on them to tell us what works and what doesn't. Fine, we'll play your game. Look, friends, our fans have given us countless anecdotal testimonies of how Missouri Medical Cannabis Company's hemp oil is helping them and their pets. Now, we wouldn't be so forward as to say this oil that has been used for a couple thousand years for a smorgasbord of ailments and applications has any positive effect on your health or well-being. But we will tell you, it's a neat oil to have around the house. We personally think it makes your pet's food taste better. And if your pet's food tastes better, they're going to be happier and generally more playful. Come to think of it, it probably makes your food taste better. May as well see if it makes you happier and more playful. Life's too short to worry about what a group of unelected bureaucrats think about you or your habits. Go to MomedCanco.com and try out this delicious oil. It might make things better. And by might, I mean it probably will, but we aren't crazy enough to say that. If you just want to taste it and try it out, enter HOSO at checkout, and you're going to get 15% off everything site-wide. Just a reminder, this hemp oil was rumored to have all kinds of benefits before Mitch McConnell saved us from something we didn't need saved from. Thanks, Mitch. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com.
Hey there, sophisticated Hoosiers. Have you been to our website? Visit HoosierSophisticate.com and listen to our uncensored podcast. Share some laughs with us. Send us fan mail so we can feel warm and special. Buy our merchandise so that we can eat. Wear your Hoosier Sophisticate t-shirt at social gatherings and let the women approach you. Wear it around the office and get that big promotion instead of Ted. That's right. Screw Ted. Ted sucks. That's HoosierSophisticate.com. WGNU, the talk of St. Louis. Streaming live at WGNU920am.com.
Let's face it, you're a product of a nutty society, and there are unexamined crevices and uncleaned out drain traps in all of us, and you're going to encounter that stuff. The good news is the earlier psychedelic trips tend to deal with that.
Say word, Radio Land. We're coming at you live with Steve and Craig on Hoosier Sophisticate, presented by Mycelio Media. Now, St. Louis, let's do this.
This is not tea, this is eating raw mushrooms. As soon as the mushroom enters my body, I sit and meditate.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU920am.com. You can stream us live on Facebook or on YouTube. Check out the channel Mycelio Media. Hit that like button. Smash the like buttons, what all the kids are saying. Follow us for all this content. We got a friend of the show in here. Last time he came in, super cool story, great author, awesome comic book, by the way. We got Seth Ferranti in studio. Seth, what's happening, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back.
No doubt, man. It's
We've been looking forward to it.
we really have for quite a while.
We've been like, hey, we got to find a reason to bring Seth Ferranti back.
I any reason. It's Friday night. Seth can come in and talk anytime, but he's a hard guy to get hold of because he's got all kinds of projects going on. Let's talk about last time you were here. They were wrapping up, I think, maybe the production of your documentary, White Boy Rick. What was your involvement in that? And
well, I did that with Sean Reck. He's a director, and it's his studio, Transition Studios. But I wrote it and produced it. You know, I worked with him, like, you know, on the whole thing from the concept, from the beginning. You know, actually, I was with him and I told him about it, and he was looking to do something like that anyhow because he had heard the story. And then when he found out I had the access, you know, it was on. So we, you know, put the foundation together, started doing interviews.
Right on.
Yeah, now it's going to be on Stars on April 9th.
Stars on April 9th. Yeah, when it first dropped, I think it was just coming out on iTunes and everything. That's great, man.
Yeah, it's on VOD, but yeah, it's going to be on Stars. So, you know, that's going to get a lot of eyeballs. A lot of people,
for sure,
you know, have access to Stars. So a lot of people are going to be watching it.
Sure. Like I was kind of all fell together. You guys rolled out that documentary, and then there was a kind of a blockbuster, quote unquote, a Hollywood version with Matthew McConaughey. I think it was called White Boy. I always wonder when they tell those stories, like I'm a big fan of Blow, you know, and telling George Young's story. I always wonder kind of where they take some liberties and everything. And, you know, was it very accurate, you know, going between what actually happened? You sat down with Rick himself, right? I mean, you kind of got it from the horse's mouth. I always wonder kind of where the producers in Hollywood, if they have to really take these liberties and change it up, did it follow it pretty much?
Well, I mean, they always take literary license, because if you have a scripted movie, like a narrative, they got to follow like a certain act, you know, act 1, act 2, act 3, and they got to set stuff up to get those emotional pulls. You know, that's what movies are about. That's why so many, you know, with documentaries, you can more, you know, because you can tell it linear, so you can tell kind of like the real story.
Sure.
So, you know, but actually the doc is called White Boy, and the Hollywood movie
I had it backwards. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Boy Rick. Yeah, but the movie, I mean, I thought it could have been better. I mean, I don't think it had as big as an impact, you know, as was expected, you know, and definitely not the commercial success that, you know, was expected, you know, with Matthew McConaughey. But, I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, I mean, could have they done it better? You know, they could have done it better, maybe story-wise. But, I mean, it was shot beautifully. I mean, the acting, you know, was awesome.
For sure.
It was just sometimes I felt, you know, they mixed stuff up, you know, and it didn't go in chronological order. But, you know, they do that sometimes in movies.
Yeah. Right on. So for the people that maybe didn't hear your first interview, let's give them just kind of a little bit of background on your story and how it came about that you were even able to have that access that you were talking about to Rick and whatnot.
Well, I was basically like a little, I don't know, hippie gangster or whatever. You know, I used to follow the dead, sell marijuana, sell LSD, you know, got busted, you know, but not like I was this big I never really carried a gun or anything like that. You know, I was just a little kid from the suburbs. You know, I grew up like a military brat, you know, and I just kind of fell into this. And, you know, I did it for a while, and then I got popped, you know, right at the height of the war on drugs. You know, my case was from 1991. I was actually a fugitive. I took off. I was, you know, U.S. Marshals List top 15 fugitive for 2 years, you know, with the wanted poster and all that. And finally, I got popped. I was actually smuggling weed, like bringing weed from Dallas up to St. Louis.
Okay.
Where I met my wife.
Right on.
Who stayed with me ever since then.
Who's in studio with us.
Yeah. And my angel. But, you know, I got popped up here when I was a fugitive and arrested. They extradited me back to Virginia. That's where my case was out of. And I got 304 months.
304 months.
Yeah. Walked it down.
What did you serve? Did you serve that?
21. Walked it down like a champ.
Right on.
Okay.
Took my time. And, you know, and while I was in the penitentiary, I just, you know, I got a master's degree while I was in there. I wrote a bunch of books. You know, they say when you're in, right, you can do the time, or you can let the time do you.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of dudes, they let the time, you know, do them. I was like, no, I'm going to do it the opposite way. I'm going to get something out of this. You know, I'm going to put something into me, so when I come out, I can hit the ground running.
Absolutely,
awesome.
Man.
And that's what I've done so far.
You started writing for Vice while in prison, right?
I started doing a column for Vice in the early 2000s called "I'm Busted." When they were just still a magazine,
Sure.
and it was just in all the big cities. It wasn't like this big national conglomerate brand like they are now. So and they noticed me because I was doing stuff for Don Diva. The outlaw magazine, the street magazines, which are like huge and prison. It talks like all the gangsters from that they dropped like in the gangster rap, like the mid 90s, like 50 Cent, Nas, all like the crews from the crack era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started doing articles for them. The guy editor from Vice saw that. He was like a big Don Diva fan. And he reached out and I started doing that. And it's a relationship that's lasted till this day. I still write for him right now.
So awesome, man. The last time you were in, you brought us your comic and you brought us a copy of Supreme Team, and I got to reading that, and you said something the last time that really made sense. I brought up how much I love the movie Blow, and I'm sure that it strayed from from George Young's actual story, but you're right. Like there's so many stories, Goodfellas. There's so many mobster stories, and there's so many stories told about the Colombian cartels and the drug trades coming in. But there's not a whole lot of stories that really break down that 80s crack era and the different boroughs and how they were almost warring, but it was more like these dudes, like those were the guys that the rappers and the celebrities thought were cool.
That's how they looked up to, like Supreme, who he still emails me and calls me to this day. I mean, he was the type of dude, like if you go back to like 83, 84, when rap was first starting, he would have parties. And like when Russell Simmons was just starting out, he would get Russell Simmons to bring his artists like the BC Boys and the other guys, and he would give each group $1,000.
Yeah, people like Russell Simmons, Grandmaster Flash would go, things like that. Yeah,
Curtis Blow.
Yep.
That's
he used to pay them, before these guys even had record deals.
He made it possible. He gave him a spotlight.
Yeah,
and he was able to facilitate the party.
It kind of transitioned over time, because the 80s is kind of like, a lot of people refer to it, the crack era, as African Americans, prohibition.
Sure.
Like, the Italians and the Irish had it and stuff like that. But there was kind of this transition because at first the hip hop guys looked up to them and were kind of under them. But then by the mid 90s, because they were giving out so much time, and plus, they were targeting, African Americans. They were targeting minorities. That's why the whole war on drugs. And they were just giving, not to say that these dudes weren't legends. They were legends, and some of them were real gangsters, but they were still being targeted unfairly. But by the mid 90s and 2000s, it was like then the rappers, were the ones with money.
Yeah.
So it was like this whole like kind of transition, and it's kind of weird because there's a lot of street guys in the rap game. So it's just, it's weird, right? That's why I think hip hop's so popular these days, because out of everything, it's really the most real. You got
it resonates the most with the everyman.
Because you don't have like rock stars like getting indicted federally like 6ix9ine,
sure.
And then turn and snitch.
Right.
That's not,
doesn't happen.
That's not happening in like pop music or, maybe country stars. I'm sure there's a few country stars who have killed people.
A few. We won't name names, but probably a few.
But I don't know. A lot of people say rap and country is kind of the same
Garth
thing.
Brooks got a lot of blood on his hands. I could just see it.
No, Chris Gaines does.
Exactly. His altar, his evil. Talking about writing for Vice, I follow you on social media. You got all kinds of cool stuff going up. I saw something pop today. I know that we don't necessarily have a date on it, but it looks like basically that little snippet of a story you told VICELAND's going to maybe run a show about you, right?
Yeah, they we filmed last October.
Cool.
We were up in New York filming with Vice, and it's supposed to be this year. There's like I know that they haven't announced a lineup for the whole year and when stuff is going to go out, but they're supposed to be debuting like 3 or 4 new series the rest of the year. And the series that they did an episode on me, it's called Fine Young Criminals.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the episode with me, it's called Have Drugs with Will Travel.
Right on.
But all that stuff is subject to change titles and stuff
sure.
like that. But
sure,
I hope the sooner the better. Actually, I haven't seen it, because it's not my production or anything. So I want to see it. I even asked the producer.
Yeah.
I was like, man, can I see it? He's like, no, you can't see it.
But that's national television.
Oh yeah.
Like your story's being taken to national television, and they
cool.
talked about like from like one of the highlights of your story. I remember like we've talked a few times where you faked your suicide, and that's going to be a big part of that. So kind of like if you want to reiterate, just kind of walk us through that again.
Oh well, when I got I got indicted and I got bailed out, but I was a young kid, man. I had a little bit of money. I was facing a lot of time, and I was trying to figure a way to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they were trying to get me cooperate and set people up, and even my lawyers. And I was like, man, I don't want to cooperate, but I don't want to go to jail. So I was like, what are my options? So
They said snitch or serve time.
yeah, and I was looking at they were talking like 70 to life.
They were dead set on making an example out of you.
I mean,
and you never murdered anybody. You never actually victimized anybody. And we're talking 70 to life.
When did you catch your case?
1991.
91. So we talk about
September 1991.
That's 28 years ago.
Victimless crime.
We talk about
we throw that out a
cannabis.
lot.
We talk about psychedelics on the show often, and we talk about the absurdity of the prohibition state. And I talking to you, college kids along the East Coast didn't start doing acid because you just dumped acid on them. There was a burgeoning market for kids that were looking to explore their consciousness, and that can be extrapolated to any intoxicant or people there is a fervor for people to be able to do this. There's a market that exists there, and so to criminalize the act of trade between people, it just seems so silly to me. To throw a life sentence at a kid is, I like to think we're making big steps, but you're talking about that was 30 years ago. I can't even.
When they gave you that option, what was your age again? You were
91. I was like 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like 20 years old.
So they gave you the option of snitch everybody out or serve 70 to life, and then you took you kind of created your own path. Tell us about that.
What I did is I pled guilty.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I pled guilty, and then they gave me like a bond, and then I was like, I'm just gonna take off. I had a little bit of money. I didn't have a lot of money, so I set up this. I came up with this whole scheme, to fake my suicide, and I did it on the Potomac River, right in Great Falls. Yeah, in Great Falls, and I'd always read articles in the paper, like the Washington. The way it is, they have it's like Class 5 rapids. So if you jump in,
you're gone.
Yeah, you're gone. Because if the rocks don't kill you when you first come in, you can't swim. It's Class 5 rapids. It's like we're professional kayakers going, stuff like that. So, I'd known this because I'd read all the articles. So I was like, man, this is where I'm going to plan it. So I planned it all out. I drove my car there. I set like a little scene, and I did like a suicide note and put like a bottle. And I did like the whole set, almost like, I was doing a film or something. I don't know. But
laying groundwork.
And then I just waited. And I saw it because there was like a path, and I'm off the path in the part you're not supposed to be in. But I waited till, because people hike through there, walk through there, walk their dogs or whatever. And I saw this couple came by, and I jumped out and I was like, my friend, he jumped, and then I took off. And I had another guy, pick me up and drive me to the airport, and I went to California. But it's funny because years later, when I was in prison and I was doing all the Freedom of Information Acts, just trying to get all the information I could about my case, I got those U.S. Park Ranger files, and I got those people's statement, and they were all telling the ranger, oh yeah, we saw him jump in and this and that.
No doubt.
Yeah. But it's crazy because they they dragged the river for 2 weeks. Because I made like a real big mistake. But I was a young kid. I was on drugs. So what do you think? I did it. I staged it on the wrong side of the dam. So they had a dam. So then, they dragged the river because the bodies would always show up, because, I was hoping, my idea was my body's going to go out to the Atlantic Ocean. And then in 7 years, I can be declared legally dead. And then, they can't. It's not like I don't got a murder charge. I'm dead.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out that way. I thought I was smart, but
on the wrong side of the dam.
Man, that's a nice idea. It was good. It was
yeah, that's just a small little slip up, man. That's not a
A for effort.
No doubt.
I was the type of kid that I thought I was too smart for my own good, and I was too smart for my own good.
Yeah, man. It opened some doors for you, closed some other ones, I guess. That's incredible, man. I think about, once again, we talk about this stuff regularly because we try to normalize the conversation. You're a 20-year-old kid. Roughly how old were you when you maybe had your first experience? Did you think that acid was going to change? Did you think that you were really doing anything that bad? Did you feel like you were actually providing maybe a way to open people's minds up a little bit at the time?
No, you know what I always tell people, right? I was not a criminal. I didn't carry a gun. I didn't rob people. I didn't have an
Yeah.
organization. I didn't even beat anybody up. You know,
Right.
I wasn't a violent dude, you know, but I was an outlaw, you know. I sold marijuana and I sold LSD, and I got that for people, you know, to use and supply or whatever you want to call it. Because
Free
I
will.
felt the laws were wrong. You know, so that's what I always tell people.
You were right.
I was an outlaw.
You're on the right show right now because we'll tell you right now that's
But you know, I feel justified now, you know, looking back, you know, because everything's come full circle, you know. I mean, it
Absolutely.
sucks that I had to spend all that time, you know, but whatever, you know, I made the best of a bad situation. But I probably tripped on acid the first time, maybe 13 or 14.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I started smoking marijuana around the same time. But I just like acid because it would just make you like, you in life you get caught in ruts, man, and you know, sometimes stuff spins around in your head and it's going all crazy. I mean, it happens to everybody. People deal with it better than others, but acid would just kind of like, you know, make you like turn you this way. So then you got to look at life from a different perspective, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get
things
it.
aren't that bad.
Yeah. So
You got
I mean,
a different view.
that's why even, you know, like even to this day, like marijuana, I feel the same way about marijuana because I feel it expands your mind. You know, it helps my creativity. I do believe, you know, and sometimes my wife will be the first to say, you know, I can't get in sometimes where I'll be smoking marijuana constantly, you know, and you know, you just got to be like, whoa,
It's
chill
easy.
out for a while.
To get caught up in you know, patterns. Definitely.
Yeah. So
Patterns
sometimes you
abuse.
got to take a break.
Yeah.
You got to be, you know, because anything, if you do it too much or you abuse it, is bad.
Sure.
I believe any even working out, you know, eating whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I tell my wife today too, and I tell other people, because people ask me sometimes like, would you trip on acid now? And I'm like, man, I would love to, but I'm also like at the point where, like, if I do take, because I probably took 1,000 hits of acid. Oh, you know,
at once?
No, in my lifetime.
1,000 strip.
Yeah. I mean, look,
I took 1,000 strip.
Look, I was tripping on acid from the age of like 13, you know, to 22 when I got caught, and I mean, I was getting like 10,000 hits a month. You know, I was getting
no. When you talk about acid, and you're talking about early 90s, right?
Yeah.
Is there any difference between like the acid you're talking about when you took it and
I was getting like the
today?
80s. I mean, we were getting what we call it. It's pretty standard. It was back then. I don't know about the LSD trade today, but it was called triple set blotter acid. So it was basically a gram of crystal LSD would make 100,000 hits, which is like 100 sheets.
Okay.
You know, 100 hits on each sheet, but that would be like 100 micrograms per hit. You know, so I mean, they have. I know they have some stuff. Sometimes it goes around like LSD 25. Sure. You know, that's stronger because that's like 250 micrograms per hit. You know, but so you
And
know,
what's that, like 1 for 5, 3 for 10 kind of?
Yeah, you might want to take you might only want like that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, that LSD
Since we're on
25.
we're on the radio.
That LSD 25.
I'm not asking to buy anything. It's just for everybody listening.
But that's a mega street value on. I mean, that's.
No, back then. I mean, I sold blocks, you know, so I would sell like, maybe $80, $90 a sheet.
Okay.
I would get for 10 sheets, I would get like $800-900. But for really, so I would sell it for 80-90 cents a hit, and I would probably pay in like 25 cents a hit.
Huh.
Okay. I mean,
you got it down like that's so far. It's so long ago. You got down to like the cents. Like a gumball machine. like
Hey,
it's so long ago. You got it down to.
But when you're in
25
prison,
cents.
man, when you're in prison, you just have so much time to like think about everything. And like even this, I can't remember the last time I talked about this stuff, but it's like, you know, it's like anything. It's like in my memory banks, I just gotta like
totally
get the arm in my head to go pull out the file.
Did you have any kind of routine for taking LSD?
I would just make
sure I have a whole routine for me. Like I don't like to do it around other people.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I'm a stay home by myself, headphones on, light some incense, meditate and chill kind of guy, and just let the LSD do its thing. I'm more in the shroom. Craig will eat like 9 hits of acid. I don't know how he does it.
No, that's not.
No. But like, do you have any like kind of routine or anything? Or
I would just
like,
always
I'm
make
ready
sure.
to party.
No, I would always make sure. I like to do it with like a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Really?
where everybody's tripping.
That's how I started too.
Yeah,
but...
and you know, if you got anything, like, you broke up with your girlfriend or you're in a fight with your parents, you shouldn't, I would never take LSD.
Don't journey into that space.
You want to make sure you're in
It's not a cocktail. Don't be like, I'm stressed out, better take a hit of acid.
It's not going to deaden.
Like what it does it distorts
it puts a microscope on a bunch of little things in your personality.
Yeah, who you are at the time, it distorts that. Whatever you're feeling at the time, it distorts that. So I highly recommend not using it as stress relief.
Allegedly. So we I'm kind of curious. I had a very good buddy of mine that I used to sell limos with. He did Hard Time, and I was always just fascinated by you. You were talking about there's a publication that's basically just circulated in these prisons. Were you in a medium security, maximum security?
I was for 12 years I was medium high, and for 9 years I was in lows.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my level, the longer I was in, my level dropped.
And
I was never in the highs, like the highs, and then the max.
Did you ever
would
have
be
any
like
kind of parole hearings where like you got to present your case or anything?
No, because the feds, I had 25 years and 4 months feds. You got to do 85% of your time.
Okay.
So I did like 21 years, but actually I got like 10 months off my sentence because I did a drug program.
Okay.
It was like a 500-hour high intensity, like modified therapeutic community where like you all live in the unit.
I thought you were gonna say like they made you dress like McGruff the crime dog and go to schools or something. Don't do drugs, kids. But what kind of dive into that? Like what?
I mean, it's like a drug rehab. It's called RDAP. It's like a drug rehab in prison, and I got something out of it. That where I was at in Forest City. I mean, a couple of the counselors or the DTSs, the drug treatment specialists, they really cared about their job. So I got something out of it. But, a lot of people, I mean, everybody's basically there for the time off. If you can get, you just got to comply with certain rules and regulations. And if you get something out of it, cool. If not, take your time off and go home.
So you met your lovely wife while you were in?
No, I met her while I was a fugitive.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
She's my outlaw woman.
Man,
walk us through how you met.
Well, I had this.
You're welcome to jump on a mic too if you want.
I had this party house.
Flop house
in Ferguson.
Really?
Okay.
304 Suburban.
Nice.
Right by Kinlock.
Okay.
Right down the street from Kinlock.
Okay.
So I had this party house, and we used to play in bands, and everybody playing in bands, and we used to have parties. And it was when I was a fugitive, and I used to rock a lot of weed out of there.
Mm-hmm.
This is back
allegedly
92. No,
that's on the books.
He's already done the
time.
Books.
He's done the time. Yeah, straight.
I can talk about all this. I
do anything. You can say anything you want.
Yeah. So and it was like a party house, with a bunch of wannabe rock and rollers, and be wannabe Tony Montana, Scarface, or whatever. And she came. Her sister was dating one of the guys. And her sister met me, and my wife always says her sister went back and told my wife, "Oh, there's this guy here that you're totally gonna love."
Right on.
And she came and fell in love with me first sight, and
a love story.
Then took care of me.
I'm looking at her for validation. Like, is that true?
That smile validates it.
And then she took care of me my whole bid. She helped me start my publishing house, Gorilla Convict, and all that. Yes. And now I've been out 4 years with her.
Man, that's a writer. Even when you were hustling and everything, were you putting your thoughts on paper a lot, or was that something that you just had a bunch of time inside and it just kind of wanted to pass it? How did that all come about? What inspired you to write?
Well, I think I always kind of flirted with being a creative person.
Yeah.
I mean, I played in bands. I played guitar. Yeah. I used to sing. From around the age of 13.
What kind of guitar? You look like a Les Paul kind of guy.
No, I mostly probably Fenders, stuff like that.
Cool.
But
I got you.
Right on.
Yeah, I like the Fenders, but the Les Pauls they're kind of heavy.
Yeah,
I like the Fender.
Yeah, they are.
No doubt.
I don't like the head. I like the plus the action on the Fender. It's just a lot easier to play. Or even some of the I played some nice Ibanez's before.
Sure.
Ooh, yeah. Ibanez is great.
It's just easier to play because really I'm not that good, so I need.
I'm terrible.
I'm telling you, Ibanez. All those metal bands that sound like they're doing a lot.
A lot of those dudes are playing Ibanez, no doubt.
Yeah. No, it's easier because this stuff's not as big. Those Les Pauls are
Ibanez really everything from the fretboard to the bridge. Everything's a little smaller on the Ibanez.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we got so you you start writing on the inside.
Yeah, I'm doing poetry. No, I was doing poetry. I was even doing like I used to play D&D.
Yeah,
I'd be like
dude,
a
good for
dungeon
you.
master, like
Yeah.
I make up these worlds, and
Is any of that going on the inside? Anybody playing?
Yeah, they play.
Do they?
Yeah,
I believe that. That's awesome, man.
So it might be more deviants now because they got a lot of deviants in there.
Sure.
Especially the lows, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But eventually I was like my heroes were like Henry Rollins, Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those were kind of like my
Henry
heroes.
Rollins is my dude.
Still
Yeah,
to this day,
even
man.
and even like Chuck D, Ice Cube, because I was like 88 when all that rap started, 85, I was a teenager. So that was like a big influence, punk rock, metal and rap. But
who did you read though? Like you got into writing. Who did you
William Burroughs.
Okay.
Hunter Thompson, big
All right.
hero.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's what I always
Gee, I could've-
kind of pictured myself like. I
would
always
have
had
never
myself-
imagined you
Yeah, I was a
were a Hunter S.
gonzo
Thompson fan.
writer.
Yeah, man. No, I dig that. That's man, that's awesome.
Yeah, then I read a lot of fantasy though too. I used to read a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
A lot of fantasy. Like The Hobbit, Tolkien.
Totally.
I was and I read a ton of comic books. X-Men. I remember saying in the 80s, like probably like 88. I was like, man, if they could make movies of this stuff, it would be so awesome.
Now that they
and then I went to
CGI.
prison for 20 years, and I came out, and it's like, oh,
There it is. I got it. Look at that. That's I think about that, like the quality of sound quality on things, the quality of movies and CGI. Like, I mean, it's just a world. I mean, you're still seeing stuff. You're not sitting in a hole though. You're still seeing some stuff on the inside.
oh yeah,
right?
you're seeing,
Yeah.
I was seeing the superhero movies. It was just,
Yeah.
But eventually in prison, I started writing because, when you get to prison, you got to have a job. They give you a job assignment.
Okay.
So I got a job in recreation. And at first I was keeping score, like the books and the stats for all the intramural sport leagues, like basketball, softball, soccer, softball. That was my job. And eventually after doing that, I got bored, for whatever, 6-7 months. And I was like, man, can I write? Like do little sports newsletters, and I got permission from the rec officers and the prisoner commissioners who ran the leagues.
Yeah.
And I started doing little newsletters.
Cool.
So that's kind of how I started writing. And then after doing that for a while, I was taking, college courses, about article writing, creative writing, and stuff like that too at the same time. So, by like the end of the 90s, I was finally like, I felt my writing was good enough, to start reaching, to outside publications. And that's what I got my start, like in a lot of, writing articles for prison newsletters like Famgram, November Coalition, Razor Wire, just like, and some like punk rock zines and stuff like that.
Sure.
Little rants. And then I started doing, stuff for Don Diva magazine and features for Don Diva. And then that led to the Vice and that led to the books.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it just kept, going and going.
I want to dive into that. You want to stick around? We're going to take a quick break. And,
All right.
We got Steve is finally back in studio.
Oh, I didn't even know he was there.
Steve's here. So we're going to take a quick break. Seth Ferranti is going to tell us more about his story here. And we will be right back on Hoosier Sophisticate Radio, WGNU 920 AM, 106.9 FM.
Say word. Last February, we held our first Hoosier Tattoo Day at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. And I got to tell you, a lot of really sweet art happened on that day. Everyone who showed up left very happy with their new tattoo. The artist did everything they could to ensure everything, from the drawing to the application itself, was perfected and exceeded the expectations of each individual client. We packed the house and the artist remained cool as a cucumber the whole time. If you got the itch to get inked, visit Tower Classic Tattooing located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove. Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands. A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call
314-961-4800. Find them online at carltoninsurance.net.
He was our dad.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full-spectrum hemp oil from MomedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MomedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MomedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah. And just go Google it. I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding. Google it.
Roof up for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy, boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing, they're the best roofers in the game, best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
What's on your wish list for a great place to live? Most people look for excellent schools, safe streets, access to good housing, and well-paying jobs. But what if you could live in a community that would help you protect and even improve your health and the health of your loved ones? Where you could enjoy clean air, have access to ample clean water, and shop for reasonably priced healthy food. Would you like to feel safe on your streets, whether you're driving, walking, or riding a bike? Would you like to relax and exercise in accessible parks and be able to count on good public transportation? Increasingly, cities and towns across the country are making planning for good health a priority. Planners are working with public and private organizations to create an environment that will improve our health today and guarantee the health of our children tomorrow. Learn more at planning.org. That's planning.org. A message from this station and the American Planning Association.
The government thinks 3 letters are bad. So bad, in fact, we won't even mention them. They even think that we've been waiting on them to tell us what works and what doesn't. Fine, we'll play your game. Look, friends, our fans have given us countless anecdotal testimonies of how Missouri Medical Cannabis Company's hemp oil is helping them and their pets. Now, we wouldn't be so forward as to say this oil that has been used for a couple thousand years for a smorgasbord of ailments and applications has any positive effect on your health or well-being. But we will tell you, it's a neat oil to have around the house. We personally think it makes your pet's food taste better. And if your pet's food tastes better, they're going to be happier and generally more playful. Come to think of it, it probably makes your food taste better. May as well see if it makes you happier and more playful. Life's too short to worry about what a group of unelected bureaucrats think about you or your habits. Go to MomedCanco.com and try out this delicious oil. It might make things better. And by might, I mean it probably will, but we aren't crazy enough to say that. If you just want to taste it and try it out, enter HOSO at checkout, and you're going to get 15% off everything site-wide. Just a reminder, this hemp oil was rumored to have all kinds of benefits before Mitch McConnell saved us from something we didn't need saved from. Thanks, Mitch. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com.
Hey there, sophisticated Hoosiers. Have you been to our website? Visit HoosierSophisticate.com and listen to our uncensored podcast. Share some laughs with us. Send us fan mail so we can feel warm and special. Buy our merchandise so that we can eat. Wear your Hoosier Sophisticate t-shirt at social gatherings and let the women approach you. Screw Ted. Ted sucks. That's HoosierSophisticate.com. WGNU, the talk of St. 5 at WGNU920am.com.
Technology has evolved so quickly that the people running capitalism from the top no longer understand the tools that are necessary for it. They have to pay guys with ponytails and piercings to turn on the machines every morning. And that must be very terrifying to them.
Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. Joined by my partner in studio, Stephen George Michael Elgin.
He's back. Hello.
And we got our buddy Seth Ferranti in studio. Wanted to let you know, hey, that whole first hour, it was brought to you by James Carlton, carltoninsurance.net. If you need insurance, you're crazy not to give the guy a call, especially if you got a young driver, 18, 24 years old. They are competitive on their rates. And here's the best part. They have just a real nice synergistic relationship with our second hour sponsor, Lifetime Roofing.
Roof.
You guys, they speak the same language. If you're set up with James and you have some roof problems, I don't even know that you have to do anything. You just have to wake up and they're going to take care of you. Check out Lifetime Roofing. Just go Google them. Check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. They make this whole show possible.
Do you think we're not synergizing all of our sponsors together? Because if you don't think we are doing that, you're wrong.
That's right. Guys, let's get back into Seth. Your story is fascinating, man, and I dig it. We were talking about how you began writing when you were inside, and really as an artistic outlet. I think there's a lot of maybe because of what we see in Hollywood, and and stories being told. People that don't have that experience on the inside, they've got this idea of this really tribal, maybe sometimes violent in different facilities. When you went in, were you on an island? Were you by yourself? Did you feel like you had to kind of pair off with a group, or did that exist?
Did you join the white supremacists? Is what Craig's trying to ask.
That's not what I'm asking.
Did you kick someone's ass the first day? Did you join the Aryan Nation, the Cholos?
This is not what I'm asking.
All the stereotypical stuff Craig has seen on television.
That's what
he's beating around the bush, but that's what he was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. When I went in, the feds are really a different type of animal, than the state. I know a lot of state joints. It's more, right when you come in, like dudes are like, yeah, who are you? Where are you from? Who you with? Even in some of the Fed joints, like the penitentiaries, it's more like that. Like how, like you would imagine a movie, like, the new guys come in, the fish, and they're walking, carrying their stuff, and there's like lines of people. I never went through anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I've heard of places like that where it's like that. But
did you have the red line and the blue line? It's like you stay on the red line if you're going in.
No, they did have like they would have lines on some places that were out of bounds, and like you could, like when they had the moves or stuff, like you couldn't go in certain areas, and if you did, you would get like an out of bounds shot, and you couldn't go by the fence or the wall or stuff like that, because then they think you're trying to skate. But
yeah, they frown upon you hanging near the wall.
Yeah, you're not
checking it out. Just checking it out.
Yeah,
pressing against the wall while the light comes by. The stereotypical, like,
the circle light.
Don't move; they won't see you.
In a roundabout way, does making friends come easy in a spot like that? I mean,
Yeah, it's like you got to go in. I mean, basically, it's like a bunch of predators, but there's some decent dudes in there. There's some good dudes. There's some people with morals, but it's still at the same time, you got to put this front on.
Sure.
You got to put this front on, and you got to and it can't be a front because it can't be a bluff. So it has to be real, even though if it's not you, it's like a mask you put on, and you have to let people know, like, look, dude, boom, here's a line in the sand. If you cross this line, it's going to be problems.
Right.
And then if someone does call your bluff and cross that line, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. Luckily, I never got in any serious beefs, or, big, long, drawn out, encounters of violence or anything like that. I was in a lot of fist fights and stuff like that, but I was the type of dude, I didn't care, if me or you had a beef, I wasn't going to wait for later. I wasn't going to go to my homeboys or this or that. I was going to hit you in the face right
Just
then.
settle it.
Yeah, and come what may, and a lot of times when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, why drag it out?
But a lot of dudes do that because they don't want to fight or they're scared or they're this or this. I don't know.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah, but
you should be thrown in prison immediately.
Yeah, I never felt the need to join a gang or stuff like that. But I can say too that the first joint I went to was a medium high in 1993. It was called SCI Manchester in Kentucky. And it was smaller back then because that was when they first started filling up all the federal prisons. So there was only about 50,000 people in the federal system back then, as opposed to like 200,000 now. But
nonviolent.
But I came in and even my case was out of Virginia, but I grew up in California. So immediately when you come in, when you go on the unit, they want to know where you're from, because they're going to go tell your homeboys. They want to know, if you're a snitch or not. They want to see your paperwork.
Right.
And then they want to know, like what's your heritage, or, what's your ethnic group, or who do you claim, or whatever. So, I was from California. So my only homeboys there, we're in Kentucky, are like the Mexican gangbangers, the Serranos.
Yeah.
That's my homeboys.
Right.
That's weird.
I got
13. Sorry, bro.
I got a 25-year sentence. My paperwork is good. I didn't snitch on nobody.
Right.
So dudes are looking at me like, who's this dude? You got 25 years. I'm like 22. I look like a little college kid or something. They're like, man, this dude, he must be connected or whatever. And then I got an Italian last name. So all the mafioso, I'm on the, Kentucky, East Coast, all the mafioso are coming up to me like, oh, who's your dad? Who's your grandparents? Where's your family from?
Yeah.
So I immediately come in and dudes, I'm this little skinny white kid because I was tall, but I was probably maybe 175, 180. I'm like bigger. I'm a grown man now.
Was there anybody there that like kind of knew about your story beforehand, like because you were wanted for a while?
Yeah, but in most people they know, I wasn't like I might have been like a suburban legend, in Fairfax in Virginia, but it didn't resonate really outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of built a reputation while I was in, but a lot of dudes in prison, they got reputations, because they're killers or they're violent or they do stuff in there, or they've been around a long time, or they're a good basketball player, a good athlete, or maybe a guitar player or a rapper, people that, people go.
He's killed three people and he's got a hell of a layup.
They have dudes like, they have dudes, they might be, killers or this or that. And they like play country songs or, it could be anything.
World-class musician.
Ray Lewis can tackle a guy like nobody's business, murders him by the dozen.
So writing for Vice, I guess they lean on your connections and everything like that. I want to switch gears a little bit to a more. I read a piece of yours. This has been a few months ago when the whole Whitey Bulger thing went down and when they moved Whitey, and when the article that I read of yours almost seemed like it was quite matter of fact that everybody just kind of knew how that was going to go down. Probably even Whitey himself, right?
He knew.
Look,
he's going from Coleman, which is Coleman 2, which is a known protection yard. Right, it's known like as a protection yard. It's not to say everybody there's a snitch or this or that, but usually the only dudes that are good on their cases there are probably like the like the local guys from Miami. What I'm saying? But then they got a lot of high profile guys. That maybe they're not snitches or anything, but their lives were threatened or people try to kill them, so they kind of hide them out there. So he went from a known protection yard to one of the most vicious penitentiaries on the East Coast.
And a lot of the dudes that are in there had some kind of 1 degree of separation.
Like they call that joint Misery Mountain.
Dude, where was that?
That's Hazleton.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like his story.
West Virginia. Vicious.
He was a vicious dude, and he was working with the feds all along, wasn't he? That's kind of the deal.
You see that a lot at the highest levels. At the highest levels of the criminal, because I don't care what ethnic group it is, Italian, African American, Chinese or whatever. A lot of times the top dudes, they're working with the cops, or they have a relationship.
You got to fix it, yeah.
Yeah, because how else are they going to stay in power that long?
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So they got an insight. So a lot of them, but I would say for Whitey, Whitey used to write me. I was trying to get him to tell me a story so I could write a book,
right.
Get a book deal because that would have sold, but he's dead now, so I can't do that.
Mm.
But he really messed that up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Way to
Thanks,
go, Whitey.
Way to go.
But he used to write me, and it would have been hard to write a book with him too because his handwriting was like awful. It's
Kill
like
Whitey.
chicken scratch, man. You could barely read it. I would try to get my wife to decipher. I'm like, can you
Not
read
really
this?
what he was known for. Not a calligrapher. More of a
Penmanship.
He had the worst handwriting. Hey, it's funny. I know this other writer down in Florida who actually visited him, but he had like a ton of letters from him. I only had maybe like 5 or 6. This other writer I know, he has probably 50 or 60 letters. And I was like, yeah, dude, have fun. Try to decipher all those letters and make an article or book out of it. I go, you're going to be spending hours.
I think, just kind of a testament to the culture, because there's definitely, even when we went and saw George Christie, like there's a code, right? There's an outlaw code. And no matter, Whitey was, he was pushing weight. He was a big deal boss, and it doesn't matter, man. If you're a snitch,
that's where like they got a lot of the Boston dudes,
Sure.
So that whole thing was set up. Everybody's desk that went by in the BOP, they just kind of like, oh, not like they didn't even look at the name, rubber stamped it. If anybody would have looked at it with any sense and saw what was really going on, they wanted it to happen.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind because he's too high profile, and you're gonna put him on the yard with all the Boston killers.
And they know who did it, right? Like he probably the guy that does it. And I don't know, I'm not sure his name, but like now he's kind of got his own little legendary status,
look,
right?
He had life sentence, but look, this is what they do too. And I've heard this like from penitentiary guys. They'll tell me, like sometimes these guys they got a life sentence. They've been in for a long time. They've been in like 20 years, and they've been in these vicious penitentiaries, or their level won't drop, because they got a life sentence. So sometimes these guys, they get to the point where they want to break, right?
Yeah.
So how do you get a break when you're in a max, like a high level max security prison and you got life? You kill somebody, and then they send you to the supermax. So you get your own cell and a TV and everything, and you got to go back down through the STEP program, the supermax in Colorado.
Okay.
And you go there. So that's what they do. And they go there and they go through the STEP program, and it takes them like 3 to 5 years, and they go through the program. They finally advance, and then they get kicked back down from max to high. And then when they finally go back to the penitentiary, they're legends,
Because they killed a fellow inmate.
Yeah. So this dude who killed Whitey Bulger, he's going to go to the supermax.
Is there only one? Is there only one?
It sounds like almost like a
Supermax.
Walmart or something. Like, hey, let's go to Supermax and get some
Band-Aids,
laundry
motor
detergent,
oil.
some underwear. It's all down there at the Supermax. You buy it in bulk, you get a discount. But this guy's he's
going to have his own
he's
cell.
snuffing
Yeah,
cats.
he's going to have his own cell for probably, at least 2-3 years, maybe 3 to 5 years if he bucks a couple of times, because they got it's a step down program, and if you violate any of the rules, you go back to the beginning. And it can take, like, if you go all the way through it, Supreme was there. Supreme went through it. So if you go all the way, he did it pretty quick. You can get it, you can get through it in like 3 years. But some dudes, they just keep, doing stuff. And I think some dudes, they get to the point where they might like being isolated better than, especially if you got some type of stature to your name or whatever. They like being isolated more than having to be on the mainline yards and constantly being tested, or having some young guys trying to come make their name on them because they got a big name.
Because Whitey was connected enough that, and sure, he pissed off a lot of people, but there's still probably some people that would put a target on that dude's back that knocked off Whitey, right? Am I wrong?
No, he's a hero.
Once you're in,
inside, he's a hero.
You're working for yourself once you're in, right? Basically, like there's no like, oh well, he knocked this guy off, so that means I can go through the ranks if I knock that guy off.
No, because whatever you have on the street, criminal wise, as soon as the feds come, it's gone.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
Why he didn't have nothing? He probably wanted to die, so that's why he was like whatever. Or maybe he thought that he was so smooth, or he had so much juice, or he thought that these guys were
all
chumps.
these Bostonians
So I'm just gonna come. Yeah, I'm just gonna come. I'm gonna run the Boston dudes because I'm Whitey Bulger. But no, those were some real dudes, and that does happen in the Fed sometimes. Like, maybe not in the penitentiaries, but maybe in the mediums and definitely in the lows. You have dudes who are known snitches, walking around.
Man,
yeah, it happens. I was in mediums. I've seen it. I saw in the mediums when I was in West Virginia, in Gilmer, West Virginia. like 2004, 2006. There was this dude, and he was a snitch, and they had some dudes. He was like from Kentucky or something. So all the white boys are like, oh yeah, that dude's hot. He got to go. He's your homeboy. You got to run him off the yard. So they went and tried to run him off the yard, and he was a big dude, man. He beat him down. He beat like 3 or 4 of his homeboys down, right? So then they came back, and all the dudes, like they were meeting out on the yard, and they're like, well, what are we gonna do about this dude? And then like somebody else, I'll do it. So they tried, and he beat them again. And then finally it was like the dudes from like the it was the California dudes.
Okay.
Like some Nazi lowrider dudes and like some AB associates.
Anheuser-Busch?
Yeah, no, Aryan Brotherhood.
Oh,
They were running the white boy car, on the yard.
Same diff.
Finally, like 4 or 5 of them went, and they got him, and they beat him down, and the cops came and got him, and then they told the SIS, that's like the investigate like the prison FBI. They told them, if you let him back out on the yard, we're gonna kill him.
Unreal.
Were there any dudes when you went in that they're like, hey man, watch out, that Steve Elgin over there, he sucked some dude's eyeball out one time. Watch out for that dude.
You hear stuff like that. Like I had times before, like it might be an older dude or something.
Yeah.
Like this was when I was real young in my 20s, and because I was not like I was the biggest dude, but I always had a little size to me, and I worked out and I played sports. So I've always been real athletic. And I could wrestle and stuff like that. So, like some little dude might have said something to me sometime, and I've been like, man, fuck you or whatever. But,
Go ahead and take it from the top. What did you say to that guy?
Forget you, sir. Forget you, gentlemen.
Forget you. And then,
I'll give you one of these. I'll butter your bread. I'll butter your bread.
Then somebody would come up to me later, and they'd be like, oh yeah, this dude, like, he killed 3 people and 1 person in prison. Maybe you won't want to talk to him like that. I'd be like, oh.
Good to know. Hey, sorry, fella.
Good to know. Good to know.
We had a misunderstanding.
It's always the little dudes. It's like the little dudes are like the most violent.
Was it hard to get like what you needed? Like, is it, like when it comes to like the rank structure or whatever, like, guys in there like trying to get cigarettes, books to read, whatever.
How about drugs? Like, what was a drug?
Or maybe, actually, there's an opioid crisis within the prison system.
No, I mean everything you get out here, you can get in there. It's just it's like the drug trade in there. It's like a microcosm, of the drug trade out here. It's just a lot smaller. Like I used to get ounces of weed in there. I would buy.
How does somebody like in one bag, like 1 ounce of weed is like?
I'm going to tell you how they do it.
Okay,
please do.
All right, look.
Step 1.
It comes in.
Bake a cake.
It comes in through the visiting room. I would buy it when it was already in there.
Right.
I'm just telling you that. I'm going to tell you how they do it. So you don't think that I was doing it how they do it.
No, it's you're out, bro.
Oh, I know how they do it.
They cleared you. They sent you home.
They get an ounce. They'll wrap it up real tight, as small as they can, with like duct tape or something. So it might be, like this big.
I know where this is going.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
For those listening, that's a very small size.
Keister it up.
They keister it.
They keister it.
Keister in an ounce.
They boof it. However you want to.
Hey, I got a QP in here right now. Let me get it out.
Oh, that's where I keep my. That's where I keep my car keys.
That's how they did it. So that's how. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. Sure.
I would buy it when it was already in it. I would not keister it and bring it.
Already gone through sanitation and everything. We got it.
Oh, the keister guy comes out.
I got it before one time, I got one and I got it all
funny.
wrapped up.
What did it smell like?
No. It was all wrapped up, and the dude had just gotten in wreck from the guy who, unkeistered it or whatever.
Unkeistered. I love it.
And he brought it back. Look, he brought it back.
That is not a prison term. Like, hey, my boy just unkeistered an ounce, dog. Like,
but look, the guy brought it back from wreck in like some popcorn bags.
Okay.
They had popcorn, so he brought it back, and he came in my cell, right? And he came in my cell, and he threw me. He had like about 4 or 5 bags of popcorn, and it was just in one. So he like threw me the whole bag of popcorn. He's like, "Here, man, there's your shit." Right. And so I took it out. This is like so this was like the first time. So I unwrap it.
You're fine, dude.
Unwrap the popcorn and get it. And I start unwrapping the duct tape. Right. And in the middle of the time I'm unwrapping the duct tape, I'm like,
oh no, like a dookie bomb.
This is
but you could tell somebody had keistered it.
But I learned, right? After that, I would, pay somebody to do that for me. So
sure.
How did you pay for it?
You mean just give him some weed?
Oh, well, how did you buy the
well,
stuff
like
originally?
how do you get started? Like
Yeah.
you go in with nothing. How do you like build off of nothing?
Well, what you do when you work in there, it's like like let's say you're gonna bring something in. You're gonna bring something in. So you say, okay, I'm coming to this date, my girl's coming up or whatever, right? And
So
you
he's
say,
not a
"Look,"
prisoner. He's
no, he's in prison too.
Oh, he
His
is.
girl's gonna
Okay.
bring it to him in the
Okay.
visiting room. But
Okay.
he'll have the deal set up with me. So what he'll say to me, he'll want me to send money to the street to like his girl. So like his girl will buy the ounce for whatever, $200.
Keister it.
No. I mean, sometimes a girl.
Well,
That's better.
girls have other options too. So it's
They're like
not as
they're like
smelly.
kangaroos. They can just.
I mean, she's gonna do the same. She's gonna do the same thing, except but yeah. So then, like your girl's gonna pay $200 for it, but then I'm gonna get my girl to send your girl like $600.
Okay.
Right.
So that's how you pay for it.
Oh my God!
It's all done outside.
But it does. But you can do it in there.
I mean,
too.
you can
Like,
earn money. You can earn money in
stamps.
prison.
Well,
right?
you can do it with stamps, or I could send the money, off my books,
Yeah.
to the street, and then she could send it back.
How
to
does
him.
it go from because you mop or you fold underwear or you work in the cafeteria, whatever it is, that money goes towards your books. How do you take it from the books to the street?
Well, you just fill out a form and they'll send
PayPal?
like a government checkout.
No doubt.
Wow.
That's
No doubt.
You
I
don't think
imagine
that no one's
imagine
thought to put a stop to that? Like we shouldn't let people.
I imagine the wages
Hey.
are fairly paltry. We had Jeff Mazansky on Steve's old radio show, and he guy did what his was a 20-year sentence for having 3.5 grams of weed on him. It was a third strike law, and they threw the book at him and spent most of his life in jail for that. 23 years, I think, and they finally freed him. But he was talking about like they were building high-end furniture, and basically just in carpenter, and they're taking this high-end furniture, they're selling it at a premium, paying him pennies on the dollar. He's like, oh
yeah,
make no
slave
mistake
labor.
that the never-ending drug war and putting nonviolent drug criminals in prison is absolutely just extended slavery. I mean, that's
for
crazy.
like, are all the systems across the board are they like that? Like, are they all in some way like for profit?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, obviously the state of the federal joint is not for profit, but in the feds they had this. They got a prison factory. It's called Unicor.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first came in, like in the 90s, like Unicor, man, was like banging. They were doing a lot of business, making a lot of money. And the guys in the joint were making a lot of money because Unicor, you could make almost like $1.50 an hour. So,
damn!
Hey, when I was in Loretto, Pennsylvania,
$1.50 an hour.
I was in Loretto.
When you have nothing to spend money on, that's pretty
great.
good.
That's great for prison. That's. I mean, some people make maintenance pay $5 a month.
Oof.
But I was in Loretto, Pennsylvania from 2006 to 2010. And when I first got there, like 2006, 2008, they had some of the guys, they were working overtime and they were making like $800-900 a month. Like they were sending money out to the street to like their families, helping them pay bills and stuff.
Dang.
But like around 2007 or 2008, they had like, because I guess it was in the recession.
Sure.
And they had like a lot of congressmen, I think from Pennsylvania and some other places made like, the prisoners have all these contracts to do this stuff and we're closing factories out here, because basically what the government was doing, Unicor was only supposed to be like for other government agencies to buy Unicor stuff. But see what they did, they had a loophole. So any business that had any type of, transaction with the government, like if, a contractor worked for the government or they ordered something, they would have access to this Unicor. And that's how they were making so much money because they were going through this loophole and just selling to anybody.
And
and undercutting, the regular business. They couldn't compete with them because it's slave labor. So once that came out, like 2007, 2008, I think now even like a lot of the Unicor shut down. So that kind of killed it. It sucks for the dudes in there that were making a lot of money, but I guess it's good for people in the world, and it's good that they're not exploiting people for slave labor.
Well, Seth, you're right. And Unicor sounds like a name you would come up with when you're writing and be like, no one's going to buy that name. Let me change it. Unicor is just such like an evil generic name.
It's the company that in the dystopian future runs everything.
It's like the Terminator movie.
We're running up
It's like
against
the
it
B,
again.
the
I had
B
a
version.
quick question before we let you plug everything, because it seems like you when you're in that system, you're bouncing around a lot, and so you went in fairly young. Did you make like any lifelong friends out of that? Like, did you have some buddies
I got tons of dudes that I still communicate.
Yeah, a lot of them still on the inside,
inside and outside. Yeah.
Well, it's like it has to be somewhat of a brotherhood because you've been through some of the same, things together.
Look, and
you have
really,
a camaraderie. Yeah, you develop that camaraderie, right?
Oh yeah, and you know what I found since I've been out? It's like all the you got a lot of ex-cons trying to do stuff in entertainment now, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of us, we got like a real strong bonds. Like George Christie, who's been on your show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's my buddy. He's
Hell's
doing
Angel.
stuff. He's trying to break down. Get through the gatekeepers, trying to break.
We
down
were
walls.
so scared when we interviewed him, but he was such a nice dude.
Oh, he's
very
perfect
talkative,
gentleman.
yeah.
Look, he was always, he was, he was always like the second in command, but he was like the more diplomatic dude. He was the one,
right?
He was the one that did all
Sonny
the
was a
trademark
wild
stuff.
card, and he was
Yeah.
like he was a diplomat.
He did all the trademark. He was the one who masterminded all that trademark stuff.
Which is what Killer Mike was talking about
Yeah.
on his series. Now he's like, they're starting with
Crips
the
and
Crip Cola.
Bloods, yeah.
He's like Hell's Angels. They got a registered trademark brand. Like that's.
And George Christie was the man behind that. He was the brain behind that
Brilliant.
move.
His story brilliant, dude, man. Yeah, his story was wild. Your story is wild. Tell everybody about what you got coming up. I want to share it with our fans again. We'll let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your Friday night, man. We love having you in here. Your story's great. Our fans dig it. I could talk about this stuff for hours. I think you even mentioned in passing, George Young. Like Steve and I are like, he's a celebrity. So tell everybody what you got going on here, man. Where they can find you, how they can support you, and we'll go from there.
All right, well, check out the doc White Boy that I wrote and produced. I did with director Sean Reck and Transition Studios. It's going to be on Stars on I believe Tuesday, April 9th.
Right on.
Yeah. So and it'll be on there. It'll be on there. I think we did like a 2-year, 18-month or 2-year license. So it's going to be on there for the next couple of years. And then I also got coming up, I don't know when, but I got the VICELAND special, Find Young Criminals series. My episodes Have Drugs, Will Travel. So that's going to be coming up. My books, you can get my books on Amazon, GorillaConvict.com. That's my website. I got comic books too. And also I got a couple short films. I got a short film that I wrote with this director and acted in called The Precious and the Damned that we're going to be submitting to festivals soon. And I got my other film that I wrote and directed called Jesus Christ Junkie, from the 4th in the Easter Bunny Assassin series, which you can find
actually,
on YouTube.
Nathan and Brandon Shaw acted in that. Didn't they?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, the Brothers on Whatever. Yeah,
Oh,
they
were
acted
on
in
before
that.
us on the other station that we were on. Great.
They
dude.
were on the Santa Claus Crack Dealer.
Great, dude.
And then there's Easter Bunny Assassin. That's like a whole series you kind of create.
So I got the new one is Jesus Christ Junkie, which is has a Scully Shimwell. He's like a very, very talented local actor, and he plays the lead in that. He actually plays, Jesus Christ Junkie. And I don't know, it's whacked out. So I put it in a couple festivals. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes I think some of my ideas might be like
Make 'em
too
weird,
farcical. But I'm hoping most people, a lot of people like it, but I'm hoping, I don't know if I'll ever go mainstream, but maybe I'll just be an underground success.
Underground success sounds good to me. I tell you what, Seth, I think your story's captivating because
thank you, Craig.
A lot of people,
a
lot of people facing a similar fate, at 20 years old, looking at life in prison. That's a death sentence for a lot of people. And you went in and you came out, you cultivated your art, and found this new piece of you and came out like a butterfly, man. You got all kinds of stuff. I'm seeing you travel in the world at film festivals, things like that. You get to enjoy your time with your wife traveling the world. Like you've made the most of it, man. It's an inspiring story. And I can appreciate the outlaw story, man. So I think that's why your story's super captivating.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. Steve, go ahead.
I lost it.
Oh, I do it to him all the time. That was Seth Ferranti, guys. This is Hoosier Sophisticate. Let's take a real quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll give you some streaming picks. We'll wrap this week up. Remind you guys, hey, if you leave right now, you can meet us down at Parlor STL. We got a little first Friday after party. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll catch you on the other side of the break.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He
has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands.
A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Hey there, sophisticated Hoosiers. Have you been to our website? Visit HoosierSophisticate.com and listen to our uncensored podcast. Share some laughs with us. Send us fan mail so we can feel warm and special. Buy our merchandise so that we can eat. Wear your Hoosier Sophisticate t-shirt at social gatherings and let the women approach you. Wear it around the office and get that big promotion instead of Ted. That's right. Screw Ted. Ted sucks. That's HoosierSophisticate.com.
Say word. Last February, we held our first Hoosier Tattoo Day at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove, and I gotta tell you, a lot of really sweet art happened on that day. Everyone who showed up left very happy with their new tattoo. The artist did everything they could to ensure everything, from the drawing to the application itself, was perfected and exceeded the expectations of each individual client. We packed the house, and the artist remained cool as a cucumber the whole time. If you got the itch to get inked, visit Tower Classic Tattooing, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove. Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter, and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk, and for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
Just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MomedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MomedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MomedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Oh, do you want to learn how to grow high-quality medicine from 4 of the best minds in the cannabis industry? You do? That makes sense. Well, on April 6th, you'll get your chance. Learn to grow from a pro. Search it on Facebook. Find out all the information there. You will be learning from the best minds in the cannabis industry. Learn to grow from a pro.
Jill.
It lasts a lifetime. Come on. It lasts a lifetime. Yeah. And just go Google it. I wanna lay those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna lay those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding. Google it.
Roof that for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, boo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game, best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
The government thinks 3 letters are bad. So bad, in fact, we won't even mention them. They even think that we've been waiting on them to tell us what works and what doesn't. Fine, we'll play your game. Look, friends, our fans have given us countless anecdotal testimonies of how Missouri Medical Cannabis Company's hemp oil is helping them and their pets. Now, we wouldn't be so forward as to say this oil that has been used for a couple thousand years for a smorgasbord of ailments and applications has any positive effect on your health or well-being. But we will tell you, it's a neat oil to have around the house. We personally think it makes your pet's food taste better. And if your pet's food tastes better, they're going to be happier and generally more playful. Come to think of it, it probably makes your food taste better. May as well see if it makes you happier and more playful. Life's too short to worry about what a group of unelected bureaucrats think about you or your habits. Go to momedcanco.com and try out this delicious oil. It might make things better. And by might, I mean it probably will, but we aren't crazy enough to say that. If you just want to taste it and try it out, enter HOSO at checkout, and you're going to get 15% off everything site-wide. Just a reminder, this hemp oil was rumored to have all kinds of benefits before Mitch McConnell saved us from something we didn't need saved from. Thanks, Mitch. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com.
A little something different for the St. Louis radio world.
He hasn't been sleeping in his bed. He'll come in our bed every night around 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Put up an electrical fence
Close
around
that
your
door
bed.
and lock it.
And I mean, that works both ways. I mean, there's lots of fun to be had, but also it keeps them out.
Here's the deal, though.
Crank up the voltage. It'd be like Jurassic Park. Just like, just blast that kid right away from her meal. Never try to sleep in your bed again at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Actually, it'd probably be easier just to give him a shock collar. Hoosier Sophisticate, Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. here on WGNU.
Sergeant Jabari Wright.
In the Army, I was trained as a combat lifesaver. In 2012, had an accident and became paralyzed. I was used to working in healthcare and how am I supposed to help people, and I'm in a wheelchair now. It really severely impacted my confidence.
Jim Arndt, PAVE Program, Paralyzed Veterans of America.
PAVE helps veterans rebuild lives with valuable careers. We assess the skills, build the resumes, and help with the interviewing skills to be able to find a career that our veterans are looking for.
PVA took what I was doing in the military and helped me translate that to meaningful employment in the civilian sector. Hooking up with them helped to empower me.
PAVE really concentrates on the one-on-one relationships. Unlike other programs that measure success by placements alone, PAVE places greater emphasis on quality jobs and continued support, our Partner for Life guarantee.
To learn more, visit pva.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends. B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What's on your wish list for a great place to live? Most people look for excellent schools, safe streets, access to good housing, and well-paying jobs. But what if you could live in a community that would help you protect and even improve your health and the health of your loved ones? Where you could enjoy clean air, have access to ample clean water, and shop for reasonably priced healthy food. Would you like to feel safe on your streets, whether you're driving, walking, or riding a bike? Would you like to relax and exercise in accessible parks and be able to count on good public transportation? Increasingly, cities and towns across the country are making planning for good health a priority. Planners are working with public and private organizations to create an environment that will improve our health today and guarantee the health of our children tomorrow. Learn more at planning.org. That's planning.org. A message from this station and the American Planning Association.
If you've been in an auto accident, even if you weren't injured, you've probably been contacted by someone urging you to go to a certain medical facility or a certain attorney to seek money from an insurance company. Auto insurance companies pay billions of dollars in medical claims each year, and they are a target for fraudsters who shop for accident victims who may or may not need treatment. They want your insurance information so they can bill for unnecessary visits and treatments that you may never receive. All of this adds up to higher insurance premiums for all of us. Insurance fraud is something you don't want to be involved in. There are ways you can protect yourself. If you're involved in an accident, talk to your insurance company first. Don't provide your insurance or personal information to someone that solicits you or tries to refer you. If you are injured, only deal with legitimate medical professionals and facilities. If you suspect medical fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB or visit www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
A voice for all of St. Louis. We are WGNU 920 AM and 106.9 FM.
There's an endless crop of new people who are interested in using these botanical materials for purposes of self-exploration.
Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Now sit back and learn something about yourself.
What is psychedelic experience? And it's a gratuitous grace. It is neither necessary for salvation nor sufficient for salvation, but it certainly makes it easier.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. Guys, we've got a little after party at our lovely sponsors, Parlor STL in the Grove, Tower Classic Tattooing. I was getting some commentary on the old Mark Twain on the arm there. Good. It looks good, man. It looks even better than when it was fresh. Tell me, you had a good little time last night. Opening day got pushed to today. You had a real big day planned yesterday.
Feels real good. I've been feeling real good all day. We've had an awesome couple of days. Just everybody who tunes in, everybody who supports us. Like I went to the Blues game with my dad last night, and we're just sitting there chatting, talking about music, talking about the team. And at one point, he's like, "Man, you follow your dreams, man. Like I admire you that you follow your dreams. That how do you do it? What are you doing? Like, do you success, failure, all that stuff?" And I was like, "Whoa, man! I never really heard of it." And to have your dad say, "Man, you follow your dreams and I admire you," because back in the day, when I first went to college, when I was bucking the system to the fullest, everyone said, "You are a crazy man." This is when I was 19. What is that? 17, 15
2003,
years ago?
2004.
Yeah, it's 2002, 2003.
Okay.
And I'm saying college is a money grab. Like, there's medicinal uses to these plants, and people are like, "You're insane.
You're a madman. Get your finance degree."
Exactly. Like I trust you, man. And then we've gotten a few messages. It's like, it makes me emotional thinking about them, how they're like, "Man, I've been listening to you. I can't share some of the stuff, but I just want to let you know, like, you guys chasing after what you want to do is inspiring." And I'm like, "What?" Because I told my dad, I go, "I don't really see it as success and failure. I'm just like one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other." And now when we talk about, people said, "When's the show?" It's like 3 years ago we started this stuff, and we were going through those notebooks. I got all these just notebooks of just random thoughts and ideas. It's like we've been putting it down, baby.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like,
No
and
doubt.
it's awesome. to see all of you gravitate towards what we're doing and us be able to feed off of you guys and our sponsors, Lifetime and James Carlton and Momed Canco and Blake and Parlor, we're going there afterwards, and Tower Classic. Like, all of these people have believed in us, and I just want to do my best for them. And, you know, having my son's game tonight, like, that was a big, like, woo, emotion. And it, you know, today was kind of like work. We set ourselves up so that we could go to work and do a podcast during a Cardinals game. Like, that's a dream. Like,
yeah,
that's
sure.
a dream, baby. So I'm telling all you guys out there, like, live your dreams.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for entertaining our dreams.
Yeah,
you know, when you came to me with that, and buddy, you know, I miss my dad every day, you know, coming up on 5 years in a little less than a month. I remember, of all of the great things that I remember the times when he told me that he was proud of me. Sure. And that is the most powerful thing as a father. And any of you fathers out there, you know, find something that your kid is doing great and remind them how proud of you are for them doing that. And that is going to turn into something big. He asked you, what is your dream? And your answer was beautiful.
Yeah, he goes, what even is your dream? You know, you're following your dreams. I go, my dream is to just be happy and to make other people happy while I'm being happy. Because that's kind of the give and take there. When I make people happy, it makes me happy.
Sure.
And if I can make a living off that, I don't know which direction it's going to take me. I don't know if it's going to be Friday nights on a show. I don't know if it's going to be
nice to be malleable.
I don't know if it's going to be a text exchange on another fan page with my buddy Craig. Like, there are a bunch of things that just bring me joy. Like, you know, tonight Oliver was so pumped after he got off the game. He's like, see me? I took one off the thigh, and then he hit a left foot shot that missed by a skosh. And I've been telling him, like, you get deadly with your left,
work
and
that
you're
left.
just as good with your right. You can play for anybody.
Anybody.
You can play for anybody, because even the kids tonight, the best kids, they get to the
They're
middle.
one-footed.
They want to hit it with their right.
Yep.
They want to
Sure.
take it back to the right, and they might be good enough to where they can do it.
And at that age, if you can start to, it's just like switch hitting or anything. Like, if you can start to learn that skill that is super foreign to you as a kid,
For sure.
and develop that to where once you start really playing some competitive soccer, you're a 2-footed player. Like, it's all the difference in the world.
And then so Oliver, he just hustles his butt off. He gets in the car, you know, he's like, he's jacked. And I go up to him like, because you were just saying the proud thing. I know now as a dad, I know what that means. So I go, just every time I think I can't get more proud of you, you one up yourself. Like, you're the class president.
There you go.
You're doing awesome. You're
He's doing great.
And now you're out there, and you didn't know a soul. He was nervous at first, went out there, did his thing. By the end, he's like, I love these games, man. And as a dad, I'm like, well,
and we talk about
enough
chasing
for me,
our
baby.
dreams, but and we do it. We try to be very conscious of the sacrifice it takes from our children and from our fiancés and wives. Like,
big time.
I was talking to Landon last night. I was like, buddy, I just want to sit down and watch a movie with you, because I haven't been home at night in the last 12 days. So part of following your dreams also means making really hard sacrifices, but it also means that you're making the most of that time that you do have with them. So we started watching something. What, you've been streaming anything this week? We'll skip the song. We don't have much time.
I streamed a couple things. I did the Kevin Hart special, and
how was it?
Phenomenal.
He's
I mean,
he's a pro.
Laughing.
He's a pro.
He knows how to work the crowd.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing up
He's
there,
great.
man. Like, and it's worth a watch. Like, it had me and Jenny both rolling a few times. And he talks about his divorce, his kids. Like, he's great. That and the Ted Williams special.
Was it good?
I think it was on Channel 9 maybe back in the day. Now they're both on Netflix.
Beautiful.
Great. You love old baseball stories,
sure,
right, buddy?
It's as romantic as Americana gets.
Some of the stories where
No
the
doubt.
last day he's batting 399.6 or whatever, or like 399.
He's got to get a hit.
0.39996. But they're going to round up to 400 in the record books. So if he doesn't play the doubleheader on the last day,
he hit 400.
He's good. He goes, put me in. And this is what's awesome too. The umpire's sweeping off the plate before his first at bat, and he goes, "You got to stay loose, kid. Got to stay loose if you're going to hit 400." And so he's like, "Okay." And the catcher goes up and is like, calls time, walks back to him, and he goes, "Ted, coach told us to pitch to you today. He said, don't give you anything. Well, we're pitching to you, just so you know." And he's like, "Awesome."
Oh, you're going to make that tunnel this big for Ted Williams?
Ted goes 6 for 8.
Oh my goodness.
Ends up with 406. The 406 Club. in
Unbelievable.
Boston. Really cool if you're into that romanticism of baseball.
I am. I got my HBO subscription back. We're 9 days away from Game of Thrones. Talked about it a little bit. Our buddy Justin Beck. He made a Hoosier Sophisticate Game of Thrones death pool. I'm going to post the Excel spreadsheet on the page for everybody to participate. Whoever scores the highest, you basically have to guess who's going to be alive at the end, who's going to be dead, who might turn into a White Walker. Will give you bonus points, but it'll also penalize you. So you're taking a risk if you're going to say they're going to be a White Walker.
That's awesome.
And then there's 5 kind of tiebreaker questions. Who's going to sit on the throne at the end? Is Danny pregnant with John's baby? It's super cool. He put a lot of time into it. He built a spreadsheet. He's a super sharp guy. So shout out to him. I got HBO back. We're like in season 5 right now. So we got a couple of seasons to
Battle of the Bastards is season.
Countdown sequence initiated. 10 seconds to evacuation.
Ship's coming in.
Security breach detected. Your intelligence is under attack. Extracting dark matter. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I'll finish up with my pick. With HBO, I get to watch my Game of Thrones and get. We got 9 days. I'm going to cram it, and it's going to just roll in real nice. A week from Sunday, we're going to start that up. But what I'm most excited about, buddy, is now that I have HBO back, I got an entire season of Silicon Valley in the can that I have not watched. And I'm 2 episodes in. 2 episodes in. We're already talking crypto. We're already talking decentralized internet.
You're gonna love it.
It is the smartest comedy on TV and has been for the last 5 years. It's just a tremendous show. Silicon Valley on HBO. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, you want to laugh, but you also want to get a layman's understanding of how Silicon Valley works
and real stuff. Like
Mike Judge knocks it out of the park with Silicon Valley.
Amazing.
Check that out.
Jing Yang. He has a real big role this time.
Unbelievable.
This is Erlex Ashes.
Yes, it's so good. So good. So check out Silicon Valley. Guys, thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you to Seth Ferranti. His story is remarkable. I could talk to that guy for hours. It's a whole other world that happens on the inside. And to see his story, just a total turnaround of looking at life at 20 years old and then coming out and being a best-selling author and having all these movie projects. It's an amazing story.
Inspiring.
It's inspiring, man. It's inspiring. Nothing held them back. We want to thank our sponsors, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company, MoMedCanco.com. They got vapor now. If you're a vape,
we're giving away
you're trying to stop smoking. Maybe you're taking up vaping. You want to get some CBD. Guess what? MoMedCanco's got your back. Go to MoMedCanco.com. Enter HOSO at checkout. You get 15% off. They got the hemp honey. They got the new massage oil. The best hemp products you can find. There are terrific sponsors. They make this whole thing happen. James Carlton State Farm. 314-961-4800. You got a young driver, he's going to give you a rate, and he's going to make sure that they're safe. That's the other thing. They have a program to teach these kids to drive safe, which is awesome. Keep your rates down. Lifetime Roofing, y'all. Roo. Just go Google it. You need exterior work done. They're the best in the game. Tower Classing Tattooing in the Grove. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with the artwork, not just on me, but for what they did for all of you loyal fans. You guys are so great to us. We're heading down to Parlor, baby. Come on down to Parlor STL in the Grove. We got the first Friday after party tonight. We're going to have a good old time. We love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you flexing with us so that we can practice being the best dads that we can. Our fathers inspired us. We want to be that for our children and keep building this thing. Start at home and make it better. Work out concentrically. We love you. This is Hoosier Sophisticate. Be well, St. Louis.
WGNU St. Louis.